Hello there, Jose Rodriguez back again. Before I begin what hopefully will not be too harsh a critique of these portraits of women, I want to give you some good news. By the way, for current QImage owners, QImage 2018 is out, version 100. Totally revamped interface. Check it out. Download it today. It has a lot of upgrades, quite nice. And also, QImage has been an exclusive Windows software, probably the best printing tool out there other than an expensive RIP. Now, what about Mac owners? Well, guess what? This fall will be the grand opening of the first version of QImage for the Macintosh or the Apple operating system. Finally. That'll be a welcome bit of news for those of you who have had to use QImage using a parallel type Windows on a Mac type situation. And what's the point of that? You know, if you're going to have a Macintosh, you might as well run the Apple OS. So anyway, that is it. Great news. Keep your eyes open. Check the website regularly, because right about the fall of this year, you will hear some news about a Mac version of QImage. All right, let's begin to look at these prints. These are from the DP Review Forum. They challenge. And again, it's just portraiture of women. Now, obviously, probably a Japanese girl, gorgeous. These are all gorgeous women, by the way. It seems to be an Asian theme this week. And captivating look. I love it. But you know what I would do? You know what really bugs me? If you're going to have a background, make it pretty much the same shade. Move the model around so that when you actually zoom into that face, you have a continuously, or at least a graduated fallout of that background color. I see what looks like a bit of bokeh, some out of focus point here. I see like a hexagonal or octagonal shape to the little out of focus spot. It's hard to see when you're shooting, and you only see that after you print it. So that's the problem with these little tiny things that I'm catching, and I have a affinity to catch all of these little faults. Don't put me as a judge at a photo contest. All right, so yeah, I would do that. I would make sure that this is not black, because I don't want her hair to just disappear, but to have something there to at least not have such an abrupt, because that's making me look to that. I want to look at her, but I cannot help it. I need to look at that background now because it's just distracting me. Also, in Photoshop, very easy to accentuate those catch lights on her eyes. Those eyes, if they go any darker, they'll look like empty pools of black, and you cannot have that. So in Photoshop, just zoom right into the eyeballs. You get your erase tool, and you basically erase a couple of pixels. Just turn them white, and that will act as an enhancement for those beautiful eyes that she obviously has, but they're just not catching my attention. Okay, so that's the only critique I have about that. The rest I love. Let's look at this one here. Another beautiful girl. Obviously, this was done with a subdued saturation level, and it looks wonderful. I used to do a conversion to black and white and have that be the lower level or the base level, and then on top I would have a subdued color version of it, and then I would blend the two together and get this sort of look. It's really captivating look. It really produces an amazing effect, and you can mask away certain colors. You can get that the Sin City look from the old movie Sin City, and where portions of it are black and white and other portions are in color of the images. Really a cool look, but again, I would have turned her head just a little bit more. I want to see a little bit more of that eye. That's all, very subtle. Rotate her head a little bit more. I know he's trying to get a profile, but if you're going to go for a total profile, then turn her head so that I don't see the other eye. But if you're going to show me a hint of that eye, let me see more. Let me see a little bit more. Maybe more of a 3/4 view. Rotate her shoulders a little bit. I'm sure this was a candid shot. She's probably getting married. This is probably her wedding. And another thing is to put her head, because this is the point of interest here, and it's on the side of the image we're just looking out of. And she needs to be more in this direction. Maybe back up a little bit, rotate her, or you can rotate yourself, position yourself so that you get a more fuller view of her face. Not necessarily complete full view, but a little bit more in the neighborhood of a 3/4 view. And that would be fantastic. All in all, it's a beautiful photograph of a gorgeous girl. Another gorgeous lady. Very nice. Low angle shot looking up. That's always cool. But you know what? See how nice that background is? Again, position, position, position. And move your model so that you get a homogeneous background. If you cannot throw that background completely out of focus, then you're going to have to find some way of getting rid of that distraction. See that right there? That's a light shadow on that wall behind her. There's another one here. If you're going to have kind of a backlit look, make it homogeneous so that this does not occur. 3 bands of density. Otherwise, gorgeous, gorgeous woman and beautifully shot, except for that. I'm being really, really picky. These are really minor problems, but something that I see, and I try to catch myself. If I'm ever doing anything, I'm going to be doing some baby pictures. My Chinese friend's baby, she's adorable, and I am waiting to get a chance to go visit them and bring all my lights with me, and we'll do a baby shoot. And I'm going to be looking for every tiny little thing, and then you guys can critique me when I show you those photographs. Again, Indian woman, I assume. She's gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. What is this blue thing sticking out there? Looks like a pole from a playground. Look at these trees coming. She looks like an elk with antlers coming out of her. My Lord, find a better position. Go back, super telephoto lens, wide opening, zoom in, blur the background out. If you're going to have such a distracting background for this gorgeous woman who should be the attention focus in this photograph, you need to throw that background out of focus, or at least move some other location where you have nothing but greenery, and at least blur it out so that you don't have that problem. I'm looking at all this stuff. I wonder what that is. Oh, I wonder what that is over there. Well, no, I don't know what that is. Oh, here's a fence. No. And gorgeous woman, why aren't you looking at me? You're supposed to be captivating me. You're so beautiful. You're in a photograph, and I need to look at you, but you're ignoring me. You're looking behind me. So yeah, be very careful. Have your model look into your lens and captivate the viewer with the eyes. The eyes are the most powerful thing or part of the human body. Some of you may think there are other parts that are more powerful. No, my friend, it's the eyes. All right. Again, the same thing. Problems with background. Look at this woman. Gorgeous, right? What is this? Just, if he did not have that dark background, if it would all be at least this type of transition of different grays, that would be great. In fact, if you want to go this way, have the whole thing be, and then make sure something is lighting from the back so that we can catch some light on those gorgeous eyelashes. I think they're false, but regardless, again, so that she stands away from the background. And what is this up here? See, I'm really picky. I will find little problems here and there. What is this little bit of red from the outfit? Why didn't you crop that out? Look, you're almost producing a square crop from, of course, probably a 3:2 ratio sensor. But you left that there. Just crop that out. You know, crop that out. Easy to do. All right, that's may appear to be really harsh, but that's what I like to do. I go to places and I look at photographs and I try to think to myself, how could I have shot that and done a better job? Or how could I have processed that in Photoshop or Lightroom and improved upon what was already an awesome image? So that's it. This is little exercises that you should do daily. When you come across a photograph, scrutinize it. Figure out, what could I do to improve that, whether it's your photograph or someone else's photograph. Just look at a bunch of photographs on the internet, anywhere, and then think, how would I improve on that? Forget about keeping that 3:2 sensor ratio. No, there is no rule about that. You crop however minuscule you have to crop in order to remove, if I can be distracted by that, maybe some people will not, but I will. I will be distracted. I will be distracted by that. If you take that out, I will never look at that corner. Never. If you take that out, I might ignore the fact that you have all of these different shades in the back. And again, when you do this sort of thing, man, get yourself a nice portrait lens, like a 1.8, and open that sucker. Then focus on the closest eye. That's it. If you are going to do an angle view of a woman's face or a man's face, focus on the closest eye, and that's the one that's going to grab you and take you on a fantasy trip, literally. That is it. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please don't forget to subscribe, share, and like. I hope you enjoyed the news about QImage. It's coming. All right, thank you so much, and as always, happy printing, everybody. Bye-bye.